There is a hidden force in the universe, a law so misunderstood and yet so powerful that it determines the outcome of millions of lives. It is the law that governs what men call luck. But let me be clear. Luck is not a mystery. It is not an accident. It is not a gift reserved for the few. It is the inevitable consequence of specific causes. And you, yes, you can align yourself with these causes. When you do, luck is no longer elusive. It becomes predictable. Men often say, that fellow is lucky, but they fail to examine what made him so. They speak as though fortune randomly selects its favorites, blind to the truth that luck is earned, created, and magnetized by the man who lives in harmony with definite principles. And chief among these principles is this: success comes through a positive mental attitude. It is not what happens to you that matters most. It is what happens in you. You may not control every circumstance, but you control your thoughts, your beliefs, your reaction to those circumstances. And this, my friend, is where the law of luck begins. A positive mental attitude is more than optimism. It is not mere cheerfulness. It is a practiced, intentional habit of thought that assumes responsibility, expects good, seeks improvement, and creates opportunity. The man who develops PMA becomes the kind of man luck must favor. Why? Because he expects success. And as I have told you before, what the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Most men drift through life with vague wishes and lazy thoughts. They want good fortune, but they sabotage themselves with worry, envy, fear, and doubt. These emotions are magnets too, but they attract precisely what the man fears. They repel opportunity. They confuse the mind and blind the eyes to the doors that are already open. But consider the man who walks through the same world, facing the same struggles, but with a mind fixed on belief, perseverance, purpose, and progress. His entire being broadcasts a different frequency, and the world responds to it. People are drawn to him. Challenges do not break him. Delays do not discourage him. He becomes lucky, not because the world changed, but because he changed. The hidden law that governs luck begins here. Your dominant mental attitude creates your outcomes. It is the cause, and what we call luck is simply the visible effect. You may not see the machinery behind it, but it is working all the same. This is why I urge you to study your thoughts, to examine your beliefs, to take responsibility for the content of your own mind. Because every belief you hold is planting seeds, and those seeds will produce fruit. Some of that fruit you may love, some you may resent, but either way it was you who planted the tree. Now, let us go deeper. The man luck favors is not merely positive in attitude, he is prepared. He lives as though the opportunity he seeks could come at any moment because it can. He sharpens his skills, disciplines his habits, and organizes his time. He is not lucky because opportunity found him. He is lucky because he was ready when opportunity arrived. Have you ever seen a man receive a sudden chance to lead, to build, to rise, and he steps into it with poise and competence? People say, he's lucky. No, my friend, he is trained. He has spent years laying invisible bricks, reading while others watched television, practicing while others partied, building while others delayed. And now life reveals the structure he built in silence. Luck often shows up looking like sudden success, but there is nothing sudden about it. The roots of success run deep into days of quiet effort. The world only sees the fruit, not the planting, not the pruning. But without that hidden work, the harvest never comes. So I ask you, are you preparing now, or are you merely hoping? Hope without preparation is deception. But hope, combined with daily discipline, becomes power. You must be ready before you are seen. The law does not wait for you to feel confident. It favors the man who acts anyway. Preparation leads us to the next principle, decision. The man luck favors is decisive. He does not hesitate. He does not second-guess himself into paralysis. Once he has studied the facts and consulted his inner voice, he acts because he understands this. Indecision is the breeding ground of failure. The world does not respect the man who waits. It rewards the man who moves. Decision carves a path where none seem to exist. It separates the dreamer from the doer. And when a man decides and that decision aligns with purpose, he sends a signal. It may be invisible, but it is real, and life bends to meet it. Let me speak plainly. Luck cannot locate the man who has not chosen a direction. If you don't know where you're going, neither does opportunity. If you live in hesitation, in aimless motion, in reaction instead of creation, you will continue to miss what is already around you. But the moment you decide, truly decide, you begin to see the resources, relationships, and solutions that were there all along, hidden by your own indecision. Decision without persistence, however, is like fire without fuel. That brings us to the fourth law. Persistence. The man luck favors does not try, he commits. He is not swayed by temporary defeat. He does not let delay kill his desire. He does not require applause to keep going. His energy comes from within. And when he is knocked down, he does not ask, "Why me?" He says, "Watch me." I have known men who were talented, gifted, even brilliant, yet they failed because they gave up too soon. And I have known men of average intellect who achieved greatness because they would not quit. They understood that failure is feedback, that delay is often a test, and that quitting is the only true defeat. The man who persists becomes luck's companion, because the longer he stays on the path, the more likely he is to intersect with the very opportunity others gave up searching for. If you persist with a positive mental attitude, aligned with preparation and a definite purpose, the law begins to activate in your favor. You must not grow weary of small steps. You must not despise the days of discipline, for these are the very things that draw fortune to your side. Every drop of sweat, every hour invested, every time you rise when it would be easier to quit, you are tuning your frequency to the one life responds to. And let us not forget the power of generosity. Luck favors the man who multiplies value. If your only concern is what you can get, the law will not bless you. But if you build with others in mind, if you create to solve problems, if you pour out wisdom, support, kindness, then the world begins to move resources toward you. The selfish man hoards and stays small. The builder who shares becomes magnetic. This is not mysticism. This is law. The man who contributes becomes valuable. The man who is valuable cannot be ignored. And the man who cannot be ignored receives what others call luck, but what we know is the inevitable result of usefulness. Make yourself useful. Make yourself indispensable. And watch how often the doors open. So what does this mean for you here and now? It means this. You are never at the mercy of chance. You are not the victim of fate. You are not a statistic. You are a creator. And the moment you adopt a positive mental attitude, define your purpose, prepare with discipline, decide with courage, persist with faith, and give generously, you become the person luck favors. You do not need to beg life for a break. You only need to become the kind of person life cannot help but reward. Now you must ask yourself, will you merely admire the lucky, or will you become one? When you decide to become the person luck favors, you are not stepping onto an easy path, you are stepping onto a higher path. You are stepping away from the common and into the uncommon. You are declaring with your life that you will not be one of the many who wish, wait, wonder, and waste. You will be one of the few who decide, act, persist, and grow. But be warned, the higher path comes with greater resistance. The moment you raise your standard, life will test you. You will encounter obstacles that seem unfair. You will face silence when you expected applause. You will see others take shortcuts and succeed for a time. And it is in those moments that the hidden law will separate you from the average man, because the average man folds under pressure. He abandons his aim when results are delayed. But the man who walks in alignment with purpose and positive mental attitude, He understands the principle of time. He does not panic when the harvest is slow because he trusts the seed. He does not complain about the weather because he believes in the law of seasons. And he does not compare his path to another's because he knows the only race that matters is the one he's running. You must learn to trust this law. It works. It has always worked. But it works in its own timing, not yours. Do not mistake delay for denial. The law is watching how you behave in the waiting. Will you remain diligent without visible reward? Will you hold your standard when it would be easier to compromise? Will you continue to act as if your dream is inevitable, even when no one else believes in it but you? These are the moments that make a man lucky, not in appearance, but in alignment. And when the day comes, when opportunity finally collides with your preparation, others will say, "What a lucky break." Let them say it. You will know the truth. You did not get lucky. You became lucky. Let me speak now of another element often overlooked, yet central to this hidden law, faith. Faith is not blind hope. Faith is mental clarity. It is emotional discipline. It is the confident knowing that if you walk in harmony with universal law, good must come to you. It may not come from where you expect. It may not come when you expect, but it will come. Faith is what keeps you moving when your eyes see nothing. Faith is what powers your smile in the storm. Faith is what holds your voice steady when doubt screams in your ear. And faith is not given, it is built. Built through repetition, built through gratitude, built through speaking what you believe until your subconscious mind accepts it as fact. You must become a man of faith. Faith in your purpose, faith in the law, faith in your ability to change, to grow, to rise. And when that faith is combined with action, the world opens up. I say this not from theory, but from experience. I have walked with men who built fortunes, shaped industries, led nations, and in every one of them I found the same traits. A burning desire, a refusal to quit, a disciplined mind, and a belief so deep it bent circumstances to their will. They were not waiting for luck. They were practicing the laws that made luck inevitable. Now let's address something even deeper, the concept of self-image. Luck cannot favor the man who sees himself as unworthy. If you do not believe you are capable of success, deserving of favor, or ready to lead, you will sabotage your own path. You will unconsciously reject the very blessings life tries to send your way. This is why you must daily affirm your identity. You must rewrite the story you tell yourself, not based on your past, not based on your current bank account, not based on what others say about you, but based on who you have decided to become. You are not your failures. You are not your upbringing. You are not the mistakes you've made or the chances you've missed. You are a child of infinite possibility, a mind with creative power, a soul stamped with purpose. And until you believe that, nothing else I teach you will take root. So tell yourself daily, I am a magnet for good. I am aligned with the law of increase. I am prepared, persistent, and purposeful. I expect success. I invite opportunity. I walk in favor because I live in truth. Say it until your subconscious mind begins to act on it, because your life will always match the image you hold of yourself. Raise that image and watch everything else rise with it. Let me also caution you against one of the deadliest traps to favor, envy. When you see another man succeed, bless him. When you see another rise, celebrate him. When you see another receive favor, let it strengthen your belief that favor is real. Envy is poison. It tells the universe that you are not ready, that you do not believe in abundance, that you cannot be trusted with increase, and so the law withholds. But gratitude, admiration, and generosity, these are signals that you are ready. Ready to lead, ready to receive, ready to be used for a greater purpose. And life will respond with doors you didn't know existed. I want you to understand this clearly. Becoming the person luck favors is not about being the smartest man in the room. It is not about having the best education, the biggest network, or the flashiest resume. It is about internal alignment with eternal laws. It is about thought, emotion, belief, and behavior all pointing in the same direction. When that happens, when your internal world becomes congruent, your external world must follow. There is no exception. There never has been. You see, this law is impartial. It does not care about your background. It does not respond to your excuses. It does not recognize your complaints. It simply reflects you back to yourself. And when you become a man of discipline, clarity, gratitude, generosity, and faith, you do not need to force results. You attract them. It is as if the doors begin to open on their own, not because you knock louder, but because you arrived as the man who belongs on the other side. And so now, the question is not whether luck exists. It does. The question is not whether you can have it. You can. The question is, will you become the person who deserves it? That is the real question. Will you train your mind daily? Will you speak life into your goals? Will you prepare without applause? Will you persist without praise? Will you live generously, decide firmly, walk humbly, and think powerfully? If so, you will begin to experience what others call luck, but you will know it by its true name, to alignment. And let me leave you with this. There will come a day, if you live this way long enough, where someone will call you lucky. They will look at your results, your confidence, your relationships, your impact, and they will say, he has all the luck. Smile, thank them, but know inside your heart the truth. You are not handed luck. You became it.